Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be covering the ending the error cycle, modernizing high volume student intake. This session is going to talk about transitioning from an old workflow to a modern workflow that brought all the steps into one place. We're going to talk about how to replace manual workarounds with automated form steps and conditional routing so that it results in a reliable process that saved the staff hours and provides a smoother journey for students and parents who are completing this application process. My name is Craig Mills. I'm a customer success manager with College Possible. I want to thank you for being here today, and I'm going to turn things over to Derek.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to share our journey with form assembly and share an example of how we were able to utilize the tool to save time and effort. We've been long time users and partners of form assembly, so we're always creative and love to see the latest features that they release, and we were able to really leverage some of the workflow features that they've recently released and hone in on them and fine tune them. So we're excited to share how we were able to apply that. I'll turn it back over to Craig.
Thank you, Derek. So a little bit of information about College Possible and what we do here. We're a nationwide nonprofit that focuses on closing the degree gap by providing low-income students with near-peer coaching. We have mentors and coaches guiding students from their high school junior year through college graduation with a focus on increasing enrollment and completion rates. Specifically, we utilize Copilot. This is an app that's sold on the Salesforce App Exchange. If you're interested, there's some links in the presentation that you'll see there. Basically, this is a data management app specifically focused towards nonprofits in the college access and college success space. It provides advisors and coaches a centralized dashboard for tracking student milestones, logging interactions, helping to make data-driven decisions for supporting at-risk students. For our agenda, first we're going to cover a high-level overview of the old application process. Then we'll look at what the challenges were with that old workflow. Then we'll jump into what the new workflow solution was with form assembly, the key benefits of that new workflow, and finally, some next steps we're considering and some resources and questions. So a partner of ours approached us because they have an annual application process and they were feeling overwhelmed by the errors that they were continuing to run into year after year and how the application process was originally built out. So a high-level overview, students were sent a link, student filled out the form in form assembly. This was built with an old version of form assembly, so there was a lot of different formulas, and it worked, but it was very hard to adjust and tweak year after year. After students filled out their form, email alerts were sent out to both the student and the parent and guardian. The parent guardian had a link that they clicked on that they completed their side of the application process. After the student and the parent filled out the application, Copilot automated the application score, and then coaches and advisors went in and made decisions in terms of were the students accepted into the program or not. And then there was a mail merge done at the end to let the students know were they accepted into the program or not. So that's a just high-level overview of the old process. So hopefully you enjoy this picture here. Some of the challenges were it required frequent updates year after year. In working with this partner, there were tweaks that we had to make. It was going down rabbit holes to try and figure out what piece was causing the error. It took up time and ultimately it created bottlenecks during the application process, which was frustrating for the staff and the students and parents filling out the form. It was very much dependent on a consultant who originally built the workflow, who is no longer available. So there were gaps in the process in terms of how it was built, what was being utilized, staff turnover. So it hindered being able to quickly troubleshoot and enhance the process. And there was a lot of different things existing in different silos. You had some things in workflow, you had some things in process builder, some flows built, some email templates. It was hard to just make updates to one and figure out what the ramification was going to be for other processes. And ultimately, it was just outdated. It needed to be updated and brought into something new that was more efficient and streamlined. So, what we did with Derek's help, we worked with Derek in Form Assembly to demo the team's plan of Form Assembly that gave this partner workflow capability. And we built it out and said, this is what it could look like, how we could take your existing application process and bring it into this, and here would be the benefits. They liked what they saw, so they upgraded to the team plan with Form Assembly. And some of the new benefits were we integrated email communications that existed as email templates in Salesforce that needed to be manually updated each year into the workflow so they could be dynamically updated and didn't need year after year changes. We were able to streamline task creation that was done through Process Builder, having a task added to the survey that the student filled out their application. That is now part of the workflow. We reduced redundancy by having a pre-fill. So after students filled out the form, when the parents got the link, all the student information was already populated. Parents could look it over and change if necessary. So it eliminated parents having to fill in more data and having duplicate data or data that didn't match up. So it accelerated the process in terms of from start to finish of when the student started the application to when the parent submitted the application. And finally, it was able to be tracked in one location. We could look at the responses in Form Assembly and see, had the student only completed the application, had the student and parent, was there an error that occurred, and then tackle that quickly and efficiently. A quick summary of those. We increased the operational efficiency with all the automation that we were able to do. It accelerated the application process in terms of students starting to the parents finishing so that the advisors could go in and select the students for the program. It enhanced the visibility because everything was all in one place. So the staff for our partner could go in and just look and see, okay, Craig, here are 5 students they haven't finished their application yet. Can we send them emails? Yep, no problem. It was very easy to decipher where each student's application was in the process. We improved the reliability. We didn't have to rely on somebody outside. This is something that you'll see in a few slides that the team can now take ownership of. And that's the goal, is to empower our partner through Form Assembly so that they can continue to utilize this and modernize this as needed. And ultimately, it was a better user experience both for the staff and for the students and parents who are filling out the forms, and then ultimately their families wanting to know, did they get accepted into this program or not? Next steps and future enhancements that we're considering, we're going to continue to look at the workflow performance and user feedback. I already have some tweaks that I want to utilize in terms of talking with the partner. One being just something as simple as like a couple pre-fill fields that we had that weren't editable will now need to be editable for the parent. Secondly, we want to look at that continuously optimizing this. So this was our first iteration this past fall of going through this. So we will have meetings with their staff to figure out what changes do you want to make. Future enhancements are going to be letting students know they did via mail merge last year because that felt comfortable. Can we automate that and put that in as part of the workflow? And then training the team before the iteration this fall so that they can take ownership of this, and then that I can step away a little bit more so they're empowered to utilize this themselves. Here you're going to see just a GIF of going through the workflow. You'll see a branch right there. Basically, that's if a student starts their application form. It's a little bit long. It has some essay questions. They may want to come back to it. So that's what the branching is. Initially, students fill out their email address, click next. And what that does is bring them to the student application. and it's going to pull and pre-fill all the data that exists in Salesforce so that students don't need to retype that information. They can correct it if necessary, like if they've moved or they have a new cell phone number or something like that. And then the student will complete their part of the application. They'll get some emails out to the student and the parent. The parent will get an email that has a link to their application. They click on that. The first few pages of the parent application are the student responses, so they can look those over, edit if necessary, and then fill out the parent portion. And then after that, the student and the parent will be emailed saying, congratulations, you finished your application. We will be in touch soon to let you know if you've made it into the program or not. So at this point, just want to open it up to questions that you might have regarding this process, regarding College Possible, regarding Copilot, anything that may have came through in the Q&A.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump on and add one more thing, Craig, that's really neat. I see we have about a little over 100 institutions attending this that work with students, right? And what's really neat is that as a nonprofit, College Possible, we also use form assembly heavily. So we're using this day to day with our own students that we work with. But because we're also a form assembly reseller and partner, we get the opportunity to work with other schools, other organizations that are doing similar work, and not only resell the product, but also engage in these really exciting partnerships like Craig outlined. So I just wanted to throw that out there too, just in case you were a little confused on why we weren't showing an example of what we did with the tool, although we have done some really neat things as well internally for our own College Possible processes. But we have been able to help many of our partners who purchase form assembly, but maybe just didn't have the time to build out something as complex that Craig was able to demonstrate.
Thank you, Derek. All right. So I want to leave you with, there's a couple of articles. I know Form Assembly put some links out there. You can connect with me via LinkedIn to learn more about College Possible or Copilot. We also put a link if you want to demo a Copilot or you'd like to see that on the Salesforce App Exchange, you could do so. I'm happy to answer questions that you might have regarding anything in terms of Form Assembly or College Possible. And just want to say thank you very much to Josh and the team at Form Assembly for reaching out to us and allowing us to be part of FormFest 2026. It's been an honor. I see a question that just came through. Do students upload documents through the form or just fill info? Yes. Okay. So students upload documents. Yeah, they can upload documents through the form without a doubt. And then the Salesforce connectors can use custom objects as well. And you can bring those uploaded documents, whether it's a high school transcript or something else like that that they need, and bring those right into Salesforce as well. So thank you for that question. So I'll stick around for a few minutes if you have other questions. I know there's back-to-back sessions, but I just wanted to, again, say thank you. It's been a pleasure being here, and thank you, Josh, and to the Form Assembly team.